Hey everyone, welcome to the American Jedi channel. Back at it again. We're going to do an interior review of the Lexus ES350. And yeah, that's about it. I showed you the exterior when I compared the Lincoln MKZ along with the Lexus ES350. So let's go ahead and get inside and see what it's all about. Alright, as you're looking at the door panel here, it is leather in the center. Except for here, this is hard plastic. This is hard plastic. You have some stitching, real wood. This does have the upgraded Mark Levinson 17 speaker 1800 watt system. You have your seat memory, your window adjustments, and your window up and down. So, and that is hard plastic on the bottom. This does have the lights on the bottom that shoot out a Lexus like emblem down here. So let's look inside. All right, so you have your seat adjustments. This does have a thigh support for the taller drivers and your lumbar support. And these are the pedals. You have your hood release and you have your gas and trunk release. And here you have your camera view, which you can turn on, which will turn on your front camera and your 360 camera. And then that information thing there changes your HUD display, which this does have on it. It shines up on the glass above the driver. And then of course your odometer stuff and your instrument panel lighting. So let's get inside and look over the controls. All right, now we're inside the Lexus ES350. Very solid, very quiet. This one does reduce the engine noise a little better than the Lincoln MKZ. This is a V6. You know, when you punch it in the Lincoln MKZ, you can hear the engine noise a lot more. It is a 4-cylinder, so it is working a little harder, I believe, and it does, even though it does have a turbo. This one is I believe, with the V6, it just doesn't struggle as much and is also quieter. So looking at top to bottom, you do have your vanity mirror. You do have your rear dimming mirror. You also have your controls here, which you can turn the rear dimming mirror off or on, and also your home link for your garage. Looking at the steering wheel, we'll go ahead and turn the car on so we can see everything, what everything does. You have your start button here, which kind of pulses, you know, kind of like a heartbeat. You know, it's like, hey, start me up, start me up. So start her up. You do have an option to manually do your parking brake, but as I'll show you here in a second, this car does automatically apply the parking brake every time you start or stop the car, and automatically disengages every time you stop the car, or I mean start the car and put it in drive. As you can see, the parking brake is on right now. So I'll show you all the instrument panels. Let's look at this. That's your traction control off. That is your drive mode selector, sport, normal, and eco. I call it the Frankenstein because it looks like the things that stick out of the side of Frankenstein's neck. Looking here, I'll go ahead and show you all the stuff that you can scroll through. So this is, I'm not going to go into detail on everything, but this is your information screen, and you can see your current miles per gallon, your range, you know, your eco indicator, tire pressure, which is what I like to keep it on. And this is actually, because it's cold here in Florida right now, it's like 58 degrees. They're a little cold right now, and it's 32 degrees. It should be 35. You can see the mileage odometer down there in the bottom, and that little thing with the car kind of weaving out of the lane there, that is your lane keep assist / lane monitoring. If you do start to drift out of your lines, the steering wheel will vibrate and will gently steer you back into the lane. So I think, and then that's everything there. And then you have here, you have your compass, and it'll also tell you what road you're on down here at the bottom. You have your music, your lane keep assist, messages. These would probably be like any mechanical messages, things like that, like, hey, you know, take your car in for oil change or whatever. And then you have all. all these different options to turn them on and off, your sensitivity, You have, you know, your lane keep assist and parking and all kinds of different things. You know, your rear braking, your HUD brightness, which I don't know if you can see right now. Yeah, there you go. You can kind of see it. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see it right there. It shows you the speed limit, what gear you're in, your revs, your RPMs, and then your lane keep assist. All right. Looking back down, you can see the speedometer is digital. I like to keep it on tire pressure. You can see your speedometer is digital, so I have no clue what the top speed of this car is. I guess I could look it up online, but not going to. Don't care. Because I won't reach it. You have your voice command, your hang up and answer call button. This just goes back in the menus. This is how you control that left screen there. On the right side, you have your lane keep assist, your distance, pacing, cruise control, different modes. This is just to change like the radio station, like if you want FM, AM, stuff like that. This is a change tracks. This is your cruise control, turn it on, everything else. And then your volume button is actually over here. So you got your volume and your skip tracks on the opposite sides. You do have auto lights. This does have the auto high beams, which is what this means. There's a button on the end of the stock here that you can tap in to turn that on. I don't like them. So, I mean, they're very responsive and they work very well, but I'd rather be in control of my high beams. That's just me, old school. I have it on auto right now, which turns your daytime running lights, and then when it gets dark, it turns on your headlights. Looking over here, you have a nice, I believe it's a 12-inch infotainment screen, and you have a nice little manual clock there as well. The infotainment screen also shows your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and it's a very, very nice screen. It is not touch though. I wish it was, but you have to use this Lexus mouse to scan around in here, you know, your menus and everything else. The mouse is okay. I know a lot of people have been complaining about the Lexus mouse and how it's so distracting. You take your eyes off the road. Not really. In the beginning, maybe, but once you get used to it, you can go through this pretty quickly without taking your eyes off the road, because it does click on every thing that you're selecting. So it's pretty easy after you get used to it, and it'll become second nature while you're driving. That you're not going to have to look at it too much. Here you have your HVAC controls. It does have an auto mode as well, and then it'll do auto, circulate, or outside air. And these just are button, you know, you could change. This actually will light up once I turn it on. So if I turn it on, these will light up, and it is dual zones, so it has 2 zones, and then you just tap the button up and down and it'll, you know, change. You have your media selection, seat track, shows you your alarm, the car's locked. This is pretty cool. You can tune with this guy here by turning this, and then you also have your volume switch there. This does have the ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, heated seats, and it does have the CD player as well, for old school guys like me that like the sound of a CD. You do have a USB switch here. Now, one gripe I do have about the Lexus compared to the MKZ is you have USB plugs here, but you do not have them in the center console. So you have to run your wire all the way down here, and it just does not look aesthetically pleasing. And you have to run it down here into here. You can see there's like a little slot for it to come through, and then you could put your phone in the center console, or you can put it anywhere here. That's why I think there's like a little divot here, so you can put your phone there too. And this, I think, is supposed to be for a wallet or phone, but it's not big enough for the new iPhones or Androids. You have your brake hold down here. This is pretty neat. You know, if you drink sodas or whatever, this is about the right size for a can. If you have a big water bottle, you just fold this up, and then it's a lot deeper. Sorry for the dirtiness of the car. I am selling it, so I'm not going to detail it before I sell it, unless he wants to pay me an extra $200 to get it detailed. Push down like that, and it comes back down. You do have a wireless charging pad here. and it is not big enough for the, I have an iPhone 11 Max, Pro Max. It is not big enough for that with the case. Without the case, I can slide it in there and it'll work fine. But this does not have the wireless Apple CarPlay like some of the other manufacturers have. So I normally just plug my phone in because I use Apple CarPlay all the time. So if it had Apple CarPlay, then I would probably get rid of this ugly cable and use the wireless charger. Just take my phone out of the case and just leave it out of the case like that. Passenger side just has the lock unlock and also window controls, and you can see the cool door handles, and it kind of goes along with this theme that goes along all the car here, like looks like a little blade going across. What else is inside the front here? I don't think there's anything else really to talk about. Well, actually, we have your LED lights. These are just touch sensitive. You can touch them on off. You do have your SOS. It's like launching a missile. You got to pull the thing down and then like. It does have the 911 assist, so if you crash, you know, it'll call the police for you and stuff. This is for the panoramic sunroof, which you can see is pretty big. It's not like the Lincoln though, because the Lincoln is one sheet of glass. This actually does have a centerpiece here. It's still really nice, but this piece is the only part that opens. The back does not open, so this will open and close. And then it also has a shade that you can do if it's too sunny for you. You can close the shade. And that's done like that. All right, you do have microphones on both sides when you're talking on the phone. And let's look at the back. I do that all the time. I did that on the Lincoln too. I felt like if I have the key in my pocket, it should unlock. All right, so it's pretty standard back here. You have more speakers, window controls. You have a 12 volt thing there along with two USB 2.1 plugs. Nav pockets. Back seat. There is more rear room in here than in the Lincoln. See, as I sit in here, the seats are a lot more buckety. I have more headroom and I have more leg room as well. So I'm sitting behind myself from 5'11", and you can see that I have a couple inches there to spare. So here I got my my spouse that likes to lean gangster style, so there's not as much room back there, but yeah. This is pretty standard. You do have your light switches here. So if they want to read or whatever. Oh, and one cool thing is this does have the shades you can put up. And they even thought of the little shades back here as well in the little corner windows. And it does have a power rear folding shade that I didn't show you. But there's a button up front there. Right there in the middle. That will raise and lower the rear shade, which I've never used. I never was like, oh, there's too much sun, I need to. Maybe if you have passengers in the rear, they might complain I'm hot or something, you can raise the shade. So that's pretty much for the interior of the Lexus. I will tell you that the interior of the Lexus is nicer than the Lincoln MKZ. Again, this is the ultra luxury though. So it's the top trim level of the Lexus ES350. So it's going to have all the little nooks and cranny features. I was about to say, what was I going to say? Quirks and features. Well, Doug DeMuro will probably kill me because that's his trademark. But anyways, I feel like overall the Lexus is just better put together. I feel like the quality of the interior is higher. Everything seems tight. When you shut the door, it's a nice, solid feeling. The doors on the Lincoln MKZ are a lot lighter. They're a lot heavier on the Lexus. Overall, it's just better built, I believe. I'm not hating on my Lincoln because it is my current car. The Lexus is outgoing. But if I had a choice between the Lexus and the Lincoln, I would probably pick the Lincoln, but the black label. The black label is going to compare with the ultra luxury version of the Lexus a lot more, because it's going to have that Venetian leather. It's going to have all the little upgrades, you know, the adaptive cruise control, the technology package, the panoramic sunroof, if you get that option. What else does it have? It comes with a free detail every year and free car washes and free concierge and everything else. Lexus doesn't really offer that. Oh, one thing I did not mention between the Lincoln and the Lexus is the Lexus does have an app, just like the Lincoln has an app. And so, like, it's on Ford, it's called the Ford Pass. On the Lincoln, it's called Lincoln My Way, and the Lexus is just Lexus Remote, I believe. Now, Lexus, to use all their features, which is the remote start, the concierge, so like that'll give you dynamic map controls, like you can push on the button and you'll say, hey, where's the nearest pizza joint, and they'll program it in for you. And then the third thing, I can't remember the third thing, but that's $240 a year. It's like $80 for each option. If you just want the remote where you can remote start it and lock your doors, it'll warn you that you didn't lock your doors, blah, blah, blah. That's $80 a year. On the Lincoln, it's completely free. So I can lock and unlock my doors. I can remote start it. I can see what my oil level is, what my oil life is, how much gas is left in the car, all that stuff. Lexus will not show you any of that information for free, which I think is kind of cheap, because Lexus is not a cheap car. This car was $50,000 new. I was able to get them down to 47, but then with taxes and everything, I was back up to 50. So Lexus, well, the black label Lincoln is about the same price as the Lexus, but you can get into a black label Lincoln for, I think, less than $50,000. So the Lexus still is a little more expensive, but Lexuses do hold their value better than the Lincolns, and they're more reliable than the Lincolns as well. Lexus is #1 in reliability, whereas Lincoln, I think, is like 24th out of 32. So that's something else to consider too. But this car cost me $50,000, and I think I still owe $45,000. I've had it for a little over a year. It was like a 3% interest rate. So, you know, I was paying it down. And I was hopefully able to sell it for close to what I owe on it. I'm looking at the values right now, and they're like 42, 43, Kelley Blue Book. The Lincoln, however, I bought for $19,000. So, you know, that's less than half of what I owe on this current car. And my payments are a lot cheaper, and I got a really great interest rate. And so that one has 34,000 miles on it, and it's a great car. I love it. It's still under factory warranty, the new car warranty, and so I'm gonna drive the heck out of it and until August. It's January right now, but I'm gonna drive the heck out of it till August to make sure there's no nothing that pops up, you know, mechanical wise or whatever, so that I can have fixed under warranty. I did originally buy the extended warranty plan, but I decided not to do it and rather stick that money into a bank account in case any major repairs come. Also did not buy the gap either, because I mean, I actually, with my down payment, I owe less than what the car is worth. So that's the thing. You want to put a big down payment on your cars, because right now I owe more on the Lexus than it's worth. Trade-in value. Okay. So there's a trade-in value. When I went to go trade it in, they gave me a price, and it was a lot less than what I owed on the car. So private party value is actually really close by a couple thousand. So I'm going to sell it privately. I'm trying to think of what else. My thoughts on the Lincoln versus the Lexus. They're both, besides the engine noise, about as quiet when you're cruising on the highway. They're both about the same. I think the Lincoln may be slightly louder than the Lexus, but they're both the same. They both cruise along just fine. They both have good passing power. That one with the 4-cylinder turbo, this one with the V6, normally aspirated engine. But honestly, if you're looking at something similar, you know, getting a used Lexus or getting a used Lincoln, I would definitely consider the Lincoln, because it stands up to the Lexus pretty good, with the exception of reliability. Plus, if you're looking at a used Lexus, if you want Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you have to get a 19 or later, okay? Because Lexus did not come out with Apple CarPlay until 19. Lincoln, on the other hand, and Ford had it in late 16 and standard across all their 2017 models. So that is a 17, so I do have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is nice because I use Apple CarPlay all the time for music and Google Maps. So I was able to get pretty much the same features with the exception of the adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist on this car for $19,000 rather than $45,000 on my Lexus. So that was a big deciding factor for me. You know, if you're looking, you know, I think a used Lexus the same year, a 17 ES350 is going to be a couple grand more, probably like $2 or $3 grand more than the Lincoln, just because they hold their value better because of the reliability, and they're just better built. But the Lincoln is not a bad car, man. In terms of styling, the exterior styling, I think the Lincoln is more of a young man's car. You know, I'm not very old yet. You know, I'm getting there, but I think the Lincoln just looks more sleek and more modern, less grandpa. You know what I'm saying? The Lexus is more for an older crowd, is more for, especially the ES350, is more for an older crowd. You know, you're talking 50s and older probably. It's not very exciting on the outside with the exception of the front grille. The back kind of looks normal, you know. I think the Lincoln's just a better looking car, a lot better looking car. Any further thoughts in terms of the Lexus versus the Lincoln? I just think that they're, you know, like I said, there's pros and cons to each. You know, price is the major thing for me. You know, how much I want to pay for a car. You know, I kind of went out of hand when I bought this Lexus and, you know, paid 50 grand out the door for it. I kind of got a little out of control on my car buying. That's why I'm selling it. But I got a year's good use out of it. You know, I drove it on some road trips and I enjoyed it. I really did. I enjoyed the heck out of it. But now, sadly, it's time for it to go. So, yeah. Now I'm with the Lincoln now. And hopefully it's going to be reliable and not give me too many problems. But anyways, those are the interior reviews for, we have the Lincoln in my previous video. We have the Lexus in this video, and my thoughts on both cars. So that's the comparison that wraps up the 3-video comparison between the Lincoln and the Lexus. I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day. Bye.